The chase requires a world of knowledge.
Reykjavik, Iraq.
Antarctica.
Cape Town.
Mexico City.
But with such high stakes, all it takes is one mistake.
The black drongo is a bird species native to which continent? Stop the clock. You flaming drongo?
New The Chase, coming up next on 7.
This morning, restrictions eased at some beaches as the number of coronavirus cases falls, but warnings of tough action for those breaking the rules. An interstate war breaks out over Virgin Australia as New South Wales seeks to steal the troubled airline from Queensland. And a man dressed as a police officer carries out one of the worst mass shootings in Canadian history.
This is 7 News with Ann Sanders.
Good morning. Social distancing measures appear to be working in limiting the spread of coronavirus. The number of cases is down across the country. New South Wales recording 6 new cases over the last 24 hours. Chris Reason is at Coogee Beach, which has been reopened this morning. Good morning, Chris. Some relief for locals keen to return to their routine exercise.
Yeah, exactly. Good morning to you, Anne. You can see behind me it has been a very popular move, welcomed by locals and visitors alike. As you know, the beaches closed here several weeks ago. It was a move brought with widespread acceptance and understanding, but at the same time a lot of criticism too, particularly over the ad hoc nature of some of the beach closures. Today we see this one, Clovelly, Maroubra also open, but just up the coastline north of here into Waverley Council's area, Bondi and Bronte, for instance, still closed. So there's still some confusion. We had some confronting pictures yesterday too when police crash-tackled and arrested 54-year-old Dimitri Muscovich, a popular local Bondi identity in that area, had apparently and allegedly breached some beach closed areas and then went on apparently to disobey police orders. And he has told 7 News today that he was doing absolutely nothing wrong and that he first time he's breached social distancing was when he had 2 police officers on top of him yesterday afternoon. The police, though, this morning have defended their actions too, saying no one is above the law. And the Premier, Gladys Berejiklian, at her daily press conference also came in to warn people that while beaches are open, they must respect social distancing regulations. Let's listen to her.
It just means everybody doing the right thing. Everybody knows the rules. We just ask everybody to stick to them because that keeps everybody safe, and it means more of us can enjoy those natural things that we have, such as beaches.
More encouraging news on the statistics as well, and as you mentioned, there's 6 new cases overnight, a low increase there, that's welcome, taking the total of 2,963 people testing positive so far. Other encouraging news, the number of tests that people are taking. You know, authorities are encouraging people, anyone with flu-like symptoms, to go forward to a testing centre and get themselves tested. 2 weeks ago it was 20,000, last week 24,000. That 4,000 leap is very welcome news, and authorities saying that they want even more people to come forward and get tested. Anne.
Chris Reason in Sydney. Thank you very much, Chris. An interstate war over the future of Virgin Australia has erupted between Queensland and New South Wales. The New South Wales Premier has confirmed talks with the airline, but any bailout would be linked to it moving its headquarters to the Western Sydney airport site. The Queensland government has already offered the airline $200 million to help it through the coronavirus pandemic.
New South Wales might want to bring a pea shooter to the fight, that's fine. We'll bring a bazooka and we're not afraid to use it. There is nothing more dangerous than Queenslanders with their backs to the wall.
Virgin's current headquarters are in Brisbane, and Queensland stands to lose 5,000 jobs if it moves to New South Wales. Nationals MP Barnaby Joyce has taken aim at the government's COVID-19 tracing app, saying he's worried it'll be hacked and doesn't trust the government with his data. Live now to Taylor Aiken outside Parliament House. Taylor, this is at odds with senior ministers.
Good morning, Anne. That's right. They say that Barnaby Joyce is incorrect and that by signing up to this app, the government does not have access to your data. On 7 Sunrise this morning, the Nationals MP repeated his concerns about the tracing app. He's worried that the government will be tracking his movement and that personal data could be hacked by foreign countries. But the Government Services Minister denies this, saying the software just digitises a manual process, that is, tracing any contacts of a confirmed case.
A benevolent source maybe you don't have to worry about, but the people who hack in to mine data sets are not benevolent, they're malevolent. And we know that the Chinese government at one instances have been hacking into our computers.
It only goes to state health officials if you're test positive for the virus. No Commonwealth agency sees the data.
The government says that up to 40% of the population will need to sign up in order for it to be effective. I'm told the app will be rolled out later this week or early next week. And
Taylor Aiken in Canberra. Thank you, Taylor. Queenslanders have recorded a milestone with no new coronavirus cases in the state over the past 24 hours. Premier Palaszczuk said she could soon consider changes, with the current number of cases in the state at 1,019.
From our large population in Queensland, nearly 5 million people, to have 0 cases, it's been, I think, around 81 days since we've had that record.
Term 2 of school begins in Queensland today, with 90% of students staying home, but classes open for children of essential workers. There are no easing of restrictions in Victoria. However, Premier Daniel Andrews said this morning that would come if everyone continues to hold the line. Laurel Irving is in our Melbourne newsroom. Good morning, Laurel. There's been one new case recorded in Victoria.
Good morning, Anne. That's right, and that's despite more widespread community testing over the past week. And for the first time, the government here is talking about stability of those numbers, and that's because of the social distancing measures. In fact, the health department here has done some modelling on what would have happened in Victoria without those measures if we just relied on isolating people with who'd tested positive and doing contact tracing. At the height of the peak, they say there would have been 58,000 new cases every day and 650 deaths. So that's the situation that Victoria could have seen without these social distancing measures. It's why the Premier is urging Victorians to hold the line. But at the same time, we're now starting to look at what would happen if we start to ease some of those restrictions. And we know there are high-level talks underway between the Chief Health Officer and the CEO of the AFL about restarting the AFL competition this year, primarily looking at the issue of getting players interstate and what that would look like, and making sure that they would obey all the quarantine procedures. So those talks are underway, but the Premier has warned that if and when the state does start looking at easing some of these restrictions, it won't be for a few weeks yet, and it will only be very gradual.
If people think, well, this is over now, the numbers are very low, the numbers are very stable, I can go back to something approaching normal. No. All that will do is take off the table a number of important options in the future.
Important to say too that not everybody is doing the right thing here. 91 fines issued over the past 24 hours, including a man in Mildura who was found by police 5 times in 5 hours doing the wrong thing. He's now been arrested and will be in court in July, Anne.
All right, Laurel, thank you very much. Police have arrested a man who allegedly spat on supermarket staff and assaulted them at a Woolworths in Western Sydney. Officers were called to the supermarket yesterday after security guards detained the man over the sickening attack.
We're in Australia, so don't do it. Don't do it at the best of times, and certainly don't do it when you've got a coronavirus killing people.
A $5,000 fine for spitting on any essential worker begins in New South Wales today. Today is the first day that people facing financial hardship are allowed to withdraw money from their superannuation funds. Our Network Finance Editor Gemma Acton is in the newsroom. Hello, Gemma. How many people have indicated they want to take advantage of this?
Morning, Anne. Well, as of last Thursday, 881,000 Australians had registered to receive updates on the scheme, but today is the first day that anyone is able to formally apply through the tax office. The government says around double that number of people are likely to apply in total. It expects 1.7 million super members could end up withdrawing around $27 billion. The scheme allows eligible super members thrown into financial hardship by COVID-19 to withdraw up to $10,000 before this tax year ends on June 30, and another $10,000 next financial year. Meantime, it's been a rocky morning for our share market, trading in the red since open and trying hard but failing to recover some ground lost in an early sell-off. It's currently 1.4% lower. Caltex is among the worst performers after Canadian company Couche-Tard dropped its $8.8 billion offer for the local petrol company. Over to currencies, and the Aussie dollar is now buying around 63.4 US cents.
Gemma Acton reporting. Thank you very much, Gemma. More than a dozen people, including a female police officer, are dead in Canada after a lone gunman disguised himself as a Mountie and went on a shooting spree. Police say it's too soon to understand the motive, but it's clear at least some of the victims were shot at random.
The end of a 100-kilometre rampage. Canadian police corner and kill a man who allegedly spent more than 12 hours killing others.
She goes, "Oh my God, lock the doors. He's here."
He left in his wake a devastating death count as unsuspecting victims were ambushed by the man dressed as a police officer. Reports of an active shooter sent the small coastal community of Patra Peak into a lockdown late last night. The first call, a weapons complaint, then reports of gunfire and cars and buildings set ablaze.
I hear the shots and I look out and there's a guy running back and forth up beside the what looks to be a police vehicle.
Police told residents to lock their doors and take cover in their basements as helicopters roared overhead throughout the night. Police identifying the gunman as 51-year-old Gabriel Wortman, a local denturist.
Something that I never ever expect to happen here, this close to home. It's scary. Very scary situation.
The situation shocking a nation where gun violence is rare.
I know we've all been watching this on the news. My hearts go out to everyone affected in what is a terrible situation.
Amelia Brace, 7 News.
Next in 7 News, police opened fire, shooting dead a man trying to attack them with a hammer in Sydney. And Prince Harry slammed over his comments about the coronavirus crisis.
We're going into battle against a tough and determined enemy.
I'm going with you or without you.
Every Monday, mates bringing in the big guns.
We ain't never run before, I ain't running now.
The most epic adventures.
None of you have to go, but we are the only help they have.
Extraordinary heroes. And incredible battles.
You guys are crazy.
Mates Military Mondays continues tonight on Mate.
Garnier Olia, tried and tested by Australian women.
I've been colouring my hair for over 14 years now. It does take a toll on your hair.
Then everything changed with Olia, the first permanent home hair colour powered by oil, not ammonia.
When I discovered Olia, my whole perspective on colouring hair changed. My hair colour is now so bright and natural. It's oil-based, all signs of damage gone, and zero greys.
Experience the difference with Olia by Garnier, naturally.
Wish you had internet that didn't let you down? That doesn't leave you hanging and won't have you missing any of the action? Get Vodafone NBN with 4G backup. Plans start from just $65 a month. And with free express delivery, connect instantly once you receive it. Buy online today at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
Before making a claim, how do you choose the right lawyer? Do the numbers. At Gerard Malouf & Partners, we have a 98% success rate. We often triple the original offers made to victims before they've engaged us. In total, we've won billions of dollars for our clients. And you pay zero upfront costs and no fees unless we win. Want maximum justice and maximum payouts? There's only one choice. Call Gerard Malouf & Partners, the compensation experts.
A lot of people have sensitive teeth, but gum health is really important as well. If you've got sensitive teeth, you should be looking for something to help with the sensitivity, but you should also be thinking about, do I need to look after my gums? Using the new Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum toothpaste not only deals with sensitivity, it also maintains gum health when used twice a day, every day. I think it's fantastic to have a dual action toothpaste. 2 benefits with the one toothpaste. What a great idea.
Right now at Target, get 20% off toys from these big brands like Lego, Nerf, Barbie, Fisher-Price and more. Now on at Target. Offer ends April 26 in selected stores and online. Conditions apply.
With Toyota Warranty Advantage covering you for at least 5 years, still feeling it, Mick?
We're here to keep you moving forward. That's why our Toyota dealerships and service centres are still open. Older feeling. Toyota.
A man's been shot dead by police after charging at officers in Sydney South, allegedly armed with a meat tenderiser and a hammer. The officer who opened fire on the 51-year-old has been offered counselling. Natasha Squarey has more.
Police say they tried to talk to the man and calm him down, but when he lunged at them with a meat tenderizer and a hammer, they fired off their tasers. But when that didn't stop, one officer fired a single shot. The 51-year-old man collapsed on the side of Bay Street here at Rockdale. Police and paramedics performed first aid, but he didn't survive. Officers today confirmed the man had been at his Brighton Le Sands home earlier in the evening and had made threatening phone calls to another person. That individual has called police and investigators tracked the suspect's phone here to the reserve just before midnight. After an hour-long search, police came face to face with him and they say he lunged at officers with the weapons. It all played out in a matter of seconds.
There are a number of officers at the scene. I'm advised that there were at least 10 officers at the scene at the time, but an officer fired a single shot.
The officer who fired the fatal shot is today being interviewed and he will also undergo counselling. The shooting will now be the focus of an independent review.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have escalated their war with Britain's 4 main tabloid newspapers, saying they will refuse to engage with them in any way. The announcement comes as the Duke is slammed for comments he made in a podcast, saying the coronavirus crisis in the UK is not as bad as reported in the media. Sarah Greenhalgh has more.
Well, speaking from his new home in LA, Prince Harry has said that in his opinion, he doesn't think the situation in the UK is quite as bad as the public is being told. He made these remarks during a podcast interview and health experts here have labelled them as outrageous.
I think what has happened, especially in the UK, is, it's the very best of the human spirit. It's also proving that I think things are better than we're led to believe through, certain corners of the media.
One quite high-profile British physician in particular, who was once a Downing Street advisor, has said, quote, "What are his qualifications for making these comments other than deserting his country in its hour of need?" Prince Harry isn't the only one to come under fire. In the past 24 hours, the UK government has been highly criticised for its handling of the pandemic in the lead-up to the outbreak. Critics say Boris Johnson in particular sleepwalked into the crisis. Downing Street has defended its handling of the crisis, saying the right moves were made at the right times. But there is now a critical shortage of protective gear for doctors and nurses on the front line. 84 tonnes of PPE was due to arrive from Turkey today, but that shipment has now been delayed. They were expecting another 400,000 gowns, but doctors say they will now run out by Monday afternoon. The death toll in the UK is now more than 16,000 after another 596 lives were lost in the past 24 hours. Across Europe, the combined death toll from COVID-19 is now more than 100,000.
2 US states have given the green light for businesses to reopen in the coronavirus crisis as thousands of Americans protest against stay-at-home orders. The death toll from the virus has risen above 41,000. Paul Caddick reports from New York.
Good morning, Anne. The debate continues here in the United States about when is the right time to reopen the economy as we see more protests against stay-at-home rules. The latest ones being held in Colorado and Washington state, saying that these restrictions are not only causing economic pain but are a blow against liberty and freedom, while others argue they are there to protect the public health. The first states are set to begin the first steps towards reopening, Texas and Vermont. President Donald Trump says that the states have all the testing capacity they need, and the Vice President has backed that up today.
There is a sufficient capacity of testing across the country today for any state in America to go to a phase 1 level.
But governors, both Democrat and Republican, are firing back.
That's just delusional to be making statements like that.
To say that the governors have plenty of testing and they should just get to work on testing, somehow we aren't doing our job, is just absolutely false.
Here in New York, there are more positive signs the spread of the virus is being halted, but there's caution it's far too soon to relax restrictions.
We can control the beast, yes, but the beast is still alive.
This virus has now claimed more than 41,000 lives here in the United States, and that death toll has doubled in just a week. And from New York, back to you.
Thanks, Paul. Next in 7 News Sport with Jackie Felgate, including NRL boss Todd Greenberg, warns of huge job cuts, and social distancing gets thrown out the window as tempers flare in the Taiwan Baseball League.
Australia's disease detectives, revealing how they're tracking down the virus. Only on Sunrise tomorrow.
Alright Australia, so you need more energy and a better night's sleep. Meet the revolutionary Sleeping Duck mattress taking Australia by storm. It's the next generation mattress reimagined by aerospace engineers to give you the best energy, health and sleep benefits possible, even making history by becoming the first mattress ever to win Choice's Best Overall Mattress 2 years in a row. It comes manufacturer direct, free of markup. And that means you can get incredible quality with incredible value. That's Sleeping Duck, one giant leap for your sleep.
The world's most exotic fragrances are made by nature. That's why we've created Botanica Fragrances, infused with natural ingredients that are responsibly sourced. Botanica by Airwick.
Mum wanted to stay in her own home, so it was wonderful that we had an organisation that could give us peace of mind that she was being very well cared for.
Anglicare at Home has a network of extraordinary care workers that can support you to continue living independently in your home.
I think the carers are absolute angels and they do make our lives easier, so just very, very grateful for that.
Search Anglicare at Home.
Nothing should get in the way of your day, but Telfast knows that hay fever can strike at any time. Telfast works fast to relieve hay fever symptoms like watery eyes, a runny nose and sneezing, so you can live your life, not your allergies. Say yes to Telfast, because nothing beats Telfast for staying alert and focused when hay fever strikes.
Save up to 15% on your first year's premium when you get a new Allianz comprehensive car insurance policy online.
Hey, good to go.
Thanks. Get that Allianz feeling. Search for a quote today.
Good morning. NRL Chief Executive Todd Greenberg has warned his staff of upcoming job cuts, telling employees in an email he needs to reshape the business. As the code continues to push for a May 28 restart, the Queensland Government is now willing to consider playing NRL games and an Origin clash in the state this season.
It's all going to depend on the health advice. I've been very clear with that. So yes, the door's always open, but it depends where we are, in what month and what the health advice is.
The Warriors are set to arrive here on May 3 to train in northern New South Wales ahead of the planned restart. They're expected to seek an exemption to avoid mandatory quarantine. Rising Raiders star Hudson Young became a household name for all the wrong reasons last season, copping an 8-week suspension for 2 separate eye gouging incidents. Now, the 21-year-old is on the road to redemption, volunteering as a special carer for men with disabilities in Newcastle.
Hudson, it certainly wasn't a good look, was it?
No, it wasn't. I think it was a grubby action, and I've worked hard to remove it out of my game, and I think I've done that.
Because of COVID-19, Young's 8-week suspension has no official end date at this stage. The AFL lockdown has reunited the King twins under the same roof. Ben King, who plays for the Gold Coast Suns, has joined brother Max, who's at St Kilda, at their family home in Melbourne. And they're thriving on the training track, embracing the sibling rivalry.
We're on set programs, but we do some things together. And I guess it's competitive in the way that we push each other, but we both want each other to do well at the end of the day.
Max made his AFL debut for the Saints in round 1 before the shutdown, while Ben has played 15 games for the Suns. Aussie paceman Josh Hazlewood says he's preparing to take a pay cut to help get through the financial squeeze. Cricket Australia last week temporarily stood down 80% of its staff, and Hazlewood believes there won't be a repeat of the bitter pay dispute from 3 years ago.
Yeah, we're obviously partners in the game, and we've always said that. We've ridden the highs, and now it's probably time to ride the lows a little bit. So the relationships are a lot better now between the ACA and CA. And
Hazelwood did say, though, the Cricketers Association would still like to look through the governing body's finances before accepting any cuts. And a brawl in the Taiwan Baseball League has defied social distancing as players cleared the benches and charged onto the field. In a largely empty stadium containing just cardboard spectators and robot drummers, the players certainly couldn't blame a fiery atmosphere for tipping them over the edge. And let's hope that we don't have any cardboard spectators here anytime soon.
Hope not. Thanks a lot, Jackie. Next in 7's Morning News, the national weather forecast.
In this time of uncertainty, you need the latest facts.
We've got some breaking news now.
That's why every night, the latest answers your critical questions.
The overall curve continues to flatten.
What's developing?
An idea of just how big this debacle has been.
Get the latest from 7 News every night.
Warm your home. The ambience of a blazing natural gas fire is sublimely and deeply relaxing. Natural gas. Once you've got it, you'll get it.
With more than 20% protein for muscle development, Nutri-Grain is one of the highest protein cereals.
Guys, we've got another jackpot winner.
Ozphoto, will your numbers bring you a truckload of cash this Tuesday?
Play now in-store at thelot.com or on the Lot app.
Some modems emit Wi-Fi a bit like this. But a Telstra smart modem targets your device for faster Wi-Fi. Experience better Wi-Fi with Telstra.
Infused oil deluxe crisps from Red Rock Deli.
A lot's changed over the last few months. For over 100 years, Allianz Australia has supported its customers through uncertainty and change. And we'll continue to ensure what matters most to you, because our support doesn't stop here.
This weather report brought to you by Bridgestone Select for tyres and car servicing.
Taking a look at the weather around the country, a sunny day for Brisbane, a top of 27 degrees. Sydney mostly cloudy and a top of 23. A cloudy day also for Canberra, only 17 degrees there today. Melbourne 19 and rain. Hobart 16 and rainy. Adelaide showers clearing, a top of 20. Perth 23 with a late shower, and Darwin mostly sunny and 34 degrees. That's 7 News to Now. We'll keep you up to date throughout the day. Our next bulletin is at 4 p.m. I'm Ann Sanders. Thanks for your company. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.
It says here,